The live entertainment industry has lost over $9.7 billion since the beginning of the pandemic. Here's my question to you. Even though you might not have live shows going on right now, what are you doing as an entertainer during this downtime to build your brand?
Now in a new era with access to new revolutionary, innovative, and time-efficient tools, if used correctly, will ultimately separate you from your competition. Welcome to the Entertainer's Edge with Jamal Keys.
How you doing? I'm the Magic Motivator Jamal Keys, and welcome to the Entertainer's Edge. Listen, there's so many things going on right now around the world, around the country, and I just want to point out some things, and this article, a couple things out of an article that I got recently, that I read recently, and I'll leave the link below on the article. The article is talking about when Broadway comes back, 5 ways the pandemic will transform the live theater industry. Now, we know that live entertainment is suffering right now. Some of you that do smaller shows, bigger shows, or whatever type of show you might do, it trickles all the way down from, of course, Broadway and the movie industry. That's everything trickles down to us, or what some people would call the small fries, trickles down to us. So in this article, I'm just going to read one part of the article. I'll leave the whole article below. It was talking about Broadway programming will shift its focus. This is part of the article. I'm going to read this. Broadway programming will shift its focus. According to the Broadway League, the trade organization that represents theater owners, producers, Broadway audiences during the most recent complete season were made up of 35% residents and 65% tourists. That's how it was before. By the league's estimation, Broadway will not fully regain tourist audiences until sometime in 2025. Thus, Broadway will need to develop and produce content tailored more towards the 35% of audience that hail from the New York City area. Why am I reading that, and why is that important to you? This is what we need to be doing as entertainers and speakers. We need to be focusing on our land in a certain radius around where we're from right now, as far as building our brand. You need to be focusing on, if you do birthday parties, focus on a small area, concentrated area on that. Focus on those type of people that you would perform for and entertain for. If you do, for myself, I do a lot of tourist stuff. I do tourist, I live in a tourist town. So Indianapolis, Indiana, we have 5 sports teams, professional sports teams. We have the Colts, baseball, basketball, of course. We have another, of course, the stock car racing and all this kind of stuff. We have all these things in here where now it's time for me and my family to focus around our area, really focus and embrace our area as far as entertainment goes, because a lot of these conventions and stuff, I would perform and speak as a speaker at some of these conferences. You're not going to have conferences like that anymore. We need to start focusing and looking at around our herd, around our area, and focus on that right now. That's what we need to be doing. One of the stories I talk about when I do my speaking is I talk about these 2 men. 2 men they both work for a shoe company. Part of their job is to go out and look at opportunity for the shoe company. One man goes to a specific island, and he looks around, he says, man, these people don't even wear shoes like we wear shoes where we're from. Why would we, even spend the money, as far as shoes go, and try to spend the money to even build an infrastructure here and sell them the concept of the type of shoes we wear. Where the other gentleman goes there, he sees the same thing, but he takes it a different way. He perceives it such a different way. He looks around and says, wait a minute, these people don't even know about different type of name brand shoes and what shoes do and how shoes go. They don't even understand tennis shoes are for this and running shoes are for this and this is for this. I see big opportunity in this. And that's how you need to start thinking right now as an entertainer. What type of opportunity do you see during this downtime, because they said, according to the article, they're talking about tourism might not even start really picking back up till 2025. But that doesn't mean that we can't do shows. That doesn't mean that we can't speak as speakers. That doesn't mean that. If anything, they're going to need us even more now than ever before. And that's what we're going to talk about today. When it first happened, I'm going to tell you a little bit. When this pandemic first happened, I actually had a show. I did a show in Delaware, and then after Delaware, I did a show down in Florida, of all places. And after that, shows start dwindling down for me. They start dwindling down for me, and I was hopeful because it was going to be one of our best years ever. My children have a band, and of course, I do comedy magic, and I also speak. So my children perform live band, and we have a whole family show that we do together. We were really excited because the year before, we did a tour, and a gentleman loved us on the tour. It was a tour on the East Coast. He loved the tour, loved us at the tour so much, we actually re-upped on the tour, and they actually had 2 extra dates for the tour, added on to what we had the year before. He had a friend that was a producer, and we was going to do a mini tour. The first tour, the big tour, was 2.5 months. The other tour was only going to be about a week and a half, something like that. We had a couple empty dates on there, but we were really excited. So I was in denial for a while, and I'm going to tell you how I know I was in denial is because I kept moving on the chessboard the same way I moved before when I would, do your follow-ups, do this, do that. I had a specific set of things that I would do, my daily habits that I've just, developed along the years of 20 years of me doing this, that I do on a daily basis to only help me get more shows and book more shows. I was doing the same thing. But during this time, you can't move on the chessboard the same way you moved before. You have to move different. Before, you might have been a knight on the chessboard, but knights move different than rooks. So now you need to move like a rook. If you was a knight before, and if you was a rook before, you need to move like a knight. You have to move different on the chessboard. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The top 5 things every entertainer should be doing right now during their downtime. This is not the time to not do anything. The art of war tells us that when in war, prepare for peace, and when in peace, prepare for war. So now you have some downtime. Downtime doesn't mean you don't do anything, nor does it mean that you should be down on yourself for not having that speaking gig that you might have had, that convention that you might have, or that conference that you might have spoke at before, or that gig that you might have performed before. Now's not the time for that. It's time for you to think different, like a different chess piece on the chessboard. So now let's go over the top 5 things every entertainer should be doing during this downtime. Number 1, attach your name to a brand and or cause. Attach your name to a brand and or cause. This is very important right now because what you're going to see with the new people in administration in office, money's going to start shooting out to people to keep them afloat. A lot of brands, companies, big brands, and a lot of causes, your cancer society, your heart society, and different type of things like that, humane society, all types of different causes, they're going to need help right now more than ever because they can't do those big banquets that they might have been able to do before. They're going to be trying to find ways to engage their donors, engage their people that support them online and offline. I have a friend of mine right now, he's a comedian. He does a comedy, like a 10 to 15 minutes comedy before a Zoom meeting for the specific company. And then he comes back during the break time because they got to be on these Zoom meetings all day. So attach yourself to a brand or cause. Now, here's what you want to do when you attach yourself to a brand or cause. It's very important for you to believe in that cause. Believe in that cause. If you do not believe in a cause, they will see through it. So attach yourself to something that you believe in. So then you'll find yourself finding creative ways to help that brand. Because we all have causes that we believe in. My family believe in the arts. So a lot of causes that we help out is the arts. We help different theaters that we performed at before. We do different type of fun Zoom stuff with them, online, offline, helping them out as far as the theaters go, because theaters aren't doing as well, according to the article. They're not doing that well. So learn how to attach at this time, attach yourself to a brand and or cause. Attach yourself to a brand and or cause. That brings us to number 2. Learn how to be useful. A lot of people talk about they don't like being used, but the reality of it is, in business, when I hear people say that, I can understand that they don't understand how business goes. If you've ever been to a business networking meeting, I've been to a lot of them, where you state your name, you state what you do, what you can do, and then everybody is like a business mixers and different stuff like that. The whole idea is people figuring out a way of how they can use each other. That's the whole idea of that. How do we use each other? How can I use what you do to help me? Think about it. If you don't know how to be used, then you have no use for that person. Learn how to be useful to them so they can be useful to you. So when you do attach yourself to a brand and or cause, or attach yourself to other people that you might be able to help, they can help you with the resources that they have. Think about doing an assessment of your own resources. If it's a resources of your talent, not only your talent, your equipment, learn how to be useful to other entertainers. Maybe you guys, with other entertainers and other speakers, you guys can create a brand together. Learn how to be useful. The problem that we do, and the problem that we always, a lot of us end up doing, a lot of people end up dying still doing this. They don't learn how to be useful. Then they go through life upset because a person used them and they didn't know how to be useful to. They learn how they're useful to that person, but didn't learn how that person's useful to them. Remember, in life, people only come to you for a reason, for treason, and for a reason, season, or treason. That's it. People only come to you for a reason, season, or treason. And you need to always think on that. Because if you can't be useful to someone and they can't be useful to you, then both of you guys are just going to be talking about what you're going to work on, how you're going to work on it, what you might do, what you thinking about doing, and all that kind of stuff. This is not the time for that right now. You need to be very strategic on the chessboard of what you do and how you do things on the chessboard. So learn how to be useful and learn what people can be useful for you, what resources you have, what resources they have. Combine your resources to only build a brand, stay afloat, keep your brand very frequent in people's faces. You want to learn how to be used. That brings us to number 3. Learn how to integrate online and offline marketing and sales services. Online and offline marketing and sales services. You know, back in the day, let me say this. I had a young man tell me how he was excited that he had 500,000 followers on Instagram. I told him that sounds great, but will they buy from you? Will they buy from you? If you have 500,000 followers and they won't buy your products and or services, who cares? You are in the business of speaking and entertaining. Who cares? If you don't have anything to offer them and they wouldn't buy if you offered it, who cares? What you are, because he was really excited about how he gets paid from, the people, the algorithms and all that on YouTube. All you are is a YouTube employee. Now, if you learn how to integrate the traffic that's coming from YouTube and other places and push them somewhere so that you can now upsell them on something later, offer them your products and their services later, now we're talking. But if you have 500,000 followers somewhere and they won't buy your products and their services, or not only that, you're not moving them into a sales funnel, who cares? It doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're building YouTube and some of the social media brands up, and you're not getting anything from it. That's the reality. So now learn how to integrate online and offline services. This is nothing new what I'm saying here. Back in the days, they used to have direct mail marketing. In direct mail marketing, you would basically get something in the mail. Somebody would give you something in the mail. It goes to you in the mail, and then they would know who to send it to in the mail by the demographic of whatever. So, like for example, they would know in a certain area, you have families with 2 children in that area. The families with 2 children in that area, we're gonna go ahead and mail them this particular newsletter saying how we have furniture for families in that area, and then they would have a good deal for it. That's how direct mail started. Direct mail marketing started. Then you would get it in the mail, people get excited, they'll have a deadline on it, and then you would have to go and buy it and all that kind of stuff because you get excited because, of course, it's a deal. It's a call to action to it. Then that turned into what they had was catalogs. They would have catalogs. They would mail these catalogs. Sears, JCPenney, Montgomery Ward's, all these kind of big, I remember another one, I'm calling my name out now, Service Merchandise was my favorite. Service Merchandise was like a Best Buy. Actually, Best Buy is watered down. Service Merchandise sold not only electronics, but all kinds of other stuff. Electronics, it's fun electronic stuff. So they would know when you go buy something at Service Merchandise, they would get your mailing address or your information, and you know you're going to get something in the mail for their spring catalog. You would always get a spring, fall, winter, and summer catalog. Use that same technique and strategy for your online marketing. For example, if you do YouTube and you have a YouTube thing, use text marketing. Have something that goes across as text marketing. Offer them something. So then now you can have their information. You can now upsell them on whatever you need to upsell them on. Or maybe you might not even upsell them. You might just want to add them to the herd of potential prospects. But learn how to integrate online and offline marketing. Learn how to integrate the two. You can get their emails and start an email list. Now's the time to do it because once you build the infrastructure, it just runs itself then. And I was laughing at this young man because he's talking about how he doesn't have a website. Websites are dead. And I started thinking like, websites is where you would direct them to because you control that. You control the website. You can have a landing page they go to. You can have several different landing pages that they go to. But you control that. I always tell people when I do talks, my marketing talks, a website is nothing more than an employee that works 24/7 and you have to only pay them pennies on a dollar. Let me say that again. A website is nothing more than an employee that works for you 24/7 and you only have to pay them pennies on a dollar. The problem is we're not integrating our website and learning how to connect our online, offline marketing and get them to go to and herd them to our sales funnel at our website, or at least herd them to the website. Now's the time to do it, to build that infrastructure. So that's number 3. Learn how to integrate online and offline marketing services and strategies to build your brand and build your client base. Number 4, find creative ways to digitize your creativity. Find creative ways to digitize your creative talent. We're in an era right now where everything's digital. I came from the era of, I remember having to, I had a Just Say No VHS system that was a VHS tape. It had a whole bunch of booklets and different things in there that I would sell to school systems. I would sell that for like $197 to school systems all over the country. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s, I would do that. Then it turned into DVDs. DVDs was the next media. Before I did VHS tapes, you used to have people that did audio tapes. Because I had some of their audio tapes to learn stuff. Then it evolved from DVDs, and now you have digital things where people get flash drives. And now it even it's evolving even more where people just can get it downloaded to their phone. So learn how to digitize your how-to. You can always do how-to videos. You can always do entertaining type of videos. Whatever you want to, whatever your creativity is, the sky is the limit on your creativity on that. But learn how to digitize your talent. Digitize it where it's compact, where people can get it right away. People can get this, learn how to do this, that people can be entertained. Learn how to digitize your talent. I have a friend of mine, real good friend of mine, C Magic. He's working on that now. I see his evolution of what he's working on. He has a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel has he's doing the adventures of C Magic and Lady V. Lady V is his wife, and I love his concept of where he's pushing this, because really all his concept is he's going to keep his herd around him. He's going to entertain him, and instead of just doing a magic trick, he's doing entertainment, because now it's Lady V says something and he makes some magic happen, and boom, something happens. A lot of people might call that cheesy, but he knows how to engage. He's learning how to engage the audience. So while he does all these videos, mark my word, while he's going to continue to do these type of videos, 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, he's going to have market share that the other people that talked about him, had some disdain things to say about him, has some disparaging things to talk about him behind his back, or probably in the front of his back, or whatever. He's building, he's learning how to digitize his creativity. He's learning how to digitize his creativity. Learn that. Start working on that. How do you digitize your creativity? That brings us to last, but certainly not least. Now's the time for you to study a market so you can pull a whale. In sales, they call a whale is like a big account, a very big account. That's what you need to be studying right now. Study a market. The art of war tells us when we study a land, the person that knows the land well is going to win. If you know the land, you're going to win just because you know how everything moves. Let me tell you how this works. Let's say you want to get in good with a certain theater. Let's use a theater for example. You want to know where that theater is funded, who funds the theater. You want to know all of the board members of that theater. You want to know what the board members do in the theater. You want to know who works, is it a union theater? What union are they connected to? You want to learn everything about this theater if you want to pull in that theater and do shows in that theater, 3 to 4 or 5 shows a year in that theater when everything goes back to normal, or a sense of normal, because I don't even think everything's going to go back to normal. I have a prediction, that's a later video that I'll talk about, my prediction of what's going to happen in 2021, in 2022, and 2023. But you want to know everything about that market. You want to know the glossary words for that market. You want to know what's the glossary words so you can speak a certain way in that market. I learned that a long time ago when I did my first talk. I did my first talk at a conference. In the conference, it had a bunch of Fortune 500 company owners. So these are multi-millionaires in there. And I was there doing my talk on how to pep up your employees, your employee morale, and that kind of stuff. One of my talks. And usually before, when I would go talk, I would always, the night before, if they have something going on the night before, I like to sit back and just observe. So then I can always tailor my talk to certain things that they might, certain things that might be concerning to them. So you do a few of those conferences, you start talking about, you start hearing things that are, what quarter, how the quarters are going for certain companies, how certain companies' employees, how they're having problems with the HR department. You learn different type of words and phrases to get you in the door and get you more, it gets you more into tune of what they might need from you so that you can be useful to them. Instead of you just up there saying, all right, we about to have a good time. Yeah, let's do it. No. We're going to talk about things that are concerning to you. On one of my, when I do a pre-show, I got a pre-show form that people fill out. I'll talk about on the pre-show form when I do my talk. So even when I do my shows, on the pre-show form, it talks about, what are some of the concerns that you want Jamal Keys to talk about concerning you and your staff and you and your crew. I go through that. So you want to study your market so well that you want to know if it's money being sent to that market, if that what's the average cost of who they pay to do what you want to do for them in that market, how much they might even pay for if they do a conference, how much do they usually pay for that room. You want to start studying that right now, because believe it or not, you're not going to have the time to do that once everything gets back to a sense of normal. Now's the time for you to do that. And when you do that, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing other markets inside of markets pop up. You're going to see how many markets have other markets and other things that you can market yourself and your products and or services to. As a speaker, as a performer, you're going to start seeing that. But study a market so that you can pull in a whale. You want to study a market what's your wish list? What's your wish list? Now's the time to do it. What's your wish list? Start studying that market every week, every day. Dedicate 20 to 30 minutes a day minimum on that market, on that particular market.
Are you a person who has always wanted to get paid to talk virtually about your expertise in a specific niche? Or maybe you've always been curious on how you can make money virtually as a public speaker. Discover the insider secrets to turning your knowledge, passion, and expertise into an income stream with the Entertainer's Edge free ebook, How to Make Money Virtually as a Public Speaker on a Budget, the virtual Big Mouth Money System.
Hey, this is James Malinchak, co-author of the best-selling book Chicken Soup for the College Soul and two-time College Speaker of the Year. And I've done about 2,200 presentations. And one thing that I know is if you want to go more, you've got to grow more. And that's why you need my friend Jamal Keys' great system here. And don't forget what a system stands for. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. And that's what his system will do for you. Get his system today.
This free ebook will show you how to create a streaming studio under $97, how to book 10 virtual speaking gigs in 72 hours, how to easily market your virtual talk for free, how to create speaking subjects that pay big, how to create residual income from one speech, how to make your virtual talk entertaining and engaging, how to find a streaming audience that are willing to help you get paid to speak. If you're looking to make money as a public speaker, the free ebook, How to Make Money Virtually as a Public Speaker on a Budget, the virtual Big Mouth Money System, is for you. Download it now while it's free and start making money as a public speaker today.
So that brings us to everything. Let's go through everything. The 5 things that every entertainer should be doing right now during this downtime. First one, attach your name to a brand and or cause. Attach your name to a brand and or cause. Number 2, learn how to be useful. Learn how to be useful. Remember, if people don't find use in you, then you can't be useful to them. So learn how to be useful. All right? Number 3, learn how to integrate online and offline marketing tools. Online and offline marketing tools. Learn how to integrate them so that you can build up your client base, potential prospect list. You want to get your own list of people in a certain demographic that like what you do. You want to start creating that right now. That brings us to number 4. Find creative ways to digitize your creativity. Find creative ways to digitize your creativity. We're going to talk about that in a later video, some easy to implement strategies on how you can digitize what you do and how you do it. Number 5, study a market to pull in a big whale. Study a market so that you can pull in a big whale. You want a big whale. You want to close a big deal. So start studying the market. Everything that market does on a daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. You want to know who's on the boards, what type of people they have on boards. You want to know what type of events they do every year, so that you can find a way to attach yourself to them and show them how you can help them out with your talent. I hope that helped everybody out. Please be sure to, if you like this content, press the like button. If you have some other ideas, simply put them in the comment of some other ideas. Maybe you have not only 5, you have 6 or 7 or 8 things. Put them down there, because together, as speakers and entertainers, we're going to get through this.
Now in a new era with access to new revolutionary, innovative, and time-efficient tools, if used correctly, will ultimately separate you from your competition.
Hi, my name's Brian, and I attended a few weeks ago a presentation by Jamal Keynes, and I have to say I'm really happy that I did. I found his strategies very easy to implement, and very much so setting me apart from the rest of the pack. Well, and I have to say, as a direct result of implementing these strategies, I landed at the position that I was looking for. So I've had great results, and I'm really thankful for that. And thanks, Jamal, for doing an outstanding job.
Hi, I'm Mark Griffin from Cookies by Design, and I just wanted to say one more time that I learned a lot from Jamal's presentation today. I got a lot out of it.
Hello, my name is Michael Love. I'm a radio host. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker. He began to motivate me and give me tools of empowerment.
Welcome to the Entertainer's Edge with Jamal Keynes.